You are now listening to Limited Trust, a Devastator podcast. Let's get into it.
Episode 12, Limited Trust, a Devastator podcast. Yet another day of fucking changing rooms, different recording fucking conditions. What an annoyance. So now you can probably hear this fucking TV that's down the hall, because that one's not going to school today for whatever fucking reason. And then I'm sure someone will be leaving at some point within the next 5 minutes, slamming some door somewhere. I just can't get a fucking break around here, but I didn't feel like bringing everything out to the van, so I'm just super annoyed. I got a fucking stuffy nose. I'm just not in a good mood today. Welcome. So I had a bunch of things I was thinking about trying to cover and try to topics or whatever what this episode was going to be about. And then when I start overthinking what the episode's going to be about, I end up reverting back to, hey, let's tell my story about getting some felonies. That one's got to be right, man. I don't know. I recorded it before, and I just didn't like the way it sounded. So when that's ready, when I'm ready, I should say, then we'll talk about that. But today I was thinking I was going over some shit, and actually last night, and then first thing this morning, Devastator shit. And I thought maybe I would tell you guys a little bit about quote unquote behind the scenes at Devastator, or I'm guessing small business in general, of what it's kind of like, because some people really have fucking no idea what this is about and what goes into things like this, and what actually comes out of things like this. So from the outside looking in, Devastator Instagram page, website, 12 episode podcast, and that's about the extent of it, from what you could see just looking out or looking in, but there's really a lot that goes into this, as far as things that people don't think about, all the little things that I gotta constantly be picking up, or it's so fucking difficult to have stock, or to have stock ready, or to have stock on deck, or to have stock on the way of all these different things. And some of them are pretty expensive now, and you kind of have to balance what you project you're going to be using, or what you're going to need, or what's going to sit there for a long time. Like I remember when I did the single finger knuckles, the first run was 10, and it was like it was a thing between myself and the maker where I knew that the knuckles I wouldn't be able, well, I would eventually, but I knew that I needed another 10 and not another 20. And there must have been a miscommunication somewhere where that turned into a thing. But anyway, what ended up happening is I just ended up sitting on a bunch of those in the end. And so I kind of have a feeling for how things are going to do. And that's why sometimes you'll even see like a small drop come out that's 5 pieces, or whatever I end up making, and I kind of get the feel for how it's gonna go before I really invest more into it. Because really, man, there's a lot of things that suck about this, but what sucks the most is having things sitting around doing nothing. Like some stuff you have to keep on deck, like scribe parts and stuff like that. I gotta kind of keep stocked up, because you never know when Uprock, or when Glassbox, or Machine, or whoever, anyone, our new guys from Richmond, when they might come in and say, I need 100 pieces, I need 200 pieces. And those type of orders tend to happen more because They have no shelf life, so you could get 100 pieces and it can sit, and it takes up a relatively small amount of space, and it's never going to go bad. So you kind of have to have that on stock. But as far as like mixing our fluids and stuff like that, it's really tough, man, because, even in the proper container, it does have a shelf life, and things do start to happen. It might not go bad right away, but it will start to have like funny elements to it after it sits for so long, because as I've been over 100 times before, which is another thing I do hear quite a bit, is there is a shelf life as far as the damaged fluid goes. So it's got to be somewhat fresh, because it doesn't know the difference between the inside of a jug or a wall or a sign. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I apologize for everyone who is in haste loaded their mop so they could look at it full, because we all know what a full mop looks like. It's fun to take pictures of, and then you set it on your dresser for 6 weeks, and it starts to do all kinds of funny shit. And then I get the message as usual: why is it doing this? How can I stop this? Blah 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 blah. And that's why I had to have special cards printed to detail why this happens and what to do and what not to do. And that's why, and believe me, this has been an educational process for myself, and myself educating for the last 5 years. I cannot tell you how many times I have to explain that when you buy a quote unquote full mop from the site, and people are fucking flabbergasted. I've had people just completely not understand, message me, "You fucked up, blah blah blah, you fucking sent me an empty mop." And reading is fundamental, people. Please read the fucking description, if you would. Read the description. Read the whole description. Read the whole fucking post, even especially if it's something you're about to spend money on, your own hard-earned money. Read the fucking description. Read the post. The mop, it comes empty, okay? It comes with two 2-ounce fill bottles for our standard packages. Limited comes with just 2 ounces, 1 2-ounce. And I even spell those differently. Like I'll spell out like TWO 2, number 2 ounce. I don't put number 2 ounce, because it's just too fucking confusing for people. So I'm getting off track here because all these things keep popping into my mind as I'm fucking bitching. I'm sorry for bitching. but really, I've sent packages out for a long time now, unfilled. Well, mops anyway, unfilled, because it doesn't know when to rock. Like, and I know some people are like, oh yeah, let me bust it out. I understand. I do. I understand. I know. And all the other guys, they send their shit out. It's ready to rock and roll. But ours is different. It operates differently. It wants to work immediately. So, I've spent a lot of time trying to educate about things like this, or like I've had people send me a picture of like the scribe, and some of them have the red tip over the red sleeve over the tip, and it's all gnarled. This red thing's all gnarled, and the scribe's kind of halfway pushing through, and like, this is fucking impossible to use. Like, well, you got to take the fucking sleeve off it first. You might have better results. And then at one point I had someone break 2 scribe tips, and we've had issues where things have fallen out or fallen off, and I've tried to fix those, and now fucking the quality control process is big. Dude, take the fucking sleeve off this shit. And for one single person to break 2 fucking scribe ends in one run, you're doing something wrong. You're fucking doing something wrong. And as far as like the blacktop scribes and everything falling out of them, we implemented the O-ring to hold those together a little bit better, because the supplier, they cut the threads. The threads got cut really nice, and I think they're too nice. The threads they thread easy on, easy off, but I think that's also, it's a blessing and a curse. It's nice to screw it on like that, but also it doesn't have the same bite. So I think the O-ring has fixed that. So if that's been an issue, we have implemented a fix, and they will be on everything from here on out, all the black tops and such. Anyway, oh, there's that fucking stupid alarm from down the hall. I'm like so fucking irritated with today. I am just in a fucking bad mood. And now watch, now the fucking door will open. It'll be this whole fucking thing. So so we're talking about the fucking behind the scenes at Devastator. Let me fucking reel it back in and start again here. So those are some things that go into this, is education. And I understand that a lot of people don't know these things, or they're new, or so I try to make it clear. I try to post like refresher courses, as as you could say, these old posts that I keep that detail the best way to do things, or the best way to store, or the best way to carry, or the best way to use, and I try to explain that our damage fluid isn't for everyone. I know some of these other companies, their shit out of the box, it's like, fucking whatever, or at least it appears to be by certain posts. I can assure you that if you don't have the basic understanding of how these things work, you're not going to have the results that you've seen promotional pictures for, and which is also why I post everybody, because I'm not trying to glorify things and make everybody think that you can be the next insert ill hand style here, just by buying this product. That's not true. Hi, Kat. How are you? So I try to show everybody of all skill levels. I think I talked about this before. And it's difficult sometimes, because sometimes there are photos that make it look like the product is lacking because of just, applicator error, operator error. And I don't really call it, I shouldn't call it an error. I should call it, that's just how they do it, and it takes people a while to figure out the pressure and the speed. And, a lot of times what I see, so if you're doing tags and you see kind of like a streak in the middle, the center of your lines, kind of like almost like a dry, I don't want to say dry streak, because it's not dry, but it's a little more bare. It's not as full. That typically has to do with a couple of things. You might not be using enough pressure when you're squeezing your mop, because there is a valve that has to be activated. It's not just like dumping out nonstop. You have to activate the valve. So you do have to press the valve against the surface and activate the valve. And once the valve is activated, then you have to regulate the pressure from the body, and to make the fluid exit out of the nib. And what a lot of people end up doing is, like, and you don't even notice you're doing it, because it's the difference between foot-pounds of pressure, slight difference. When you're just cramming the nib into the wall, we'll just say a wall, you're actually, there's not enough space for the fluid to, it's the pressure from the nib to the wall is displacing the fluid. It's pushing it out. So like if you put a drop of paint on the floor, or on a table, and then take your thumb and push it in the center of the paint, and then lift your thumb out, you'll have a thumbprint, right? Because your thumb displaced all the fluid outside of it. You probably made the drop of paint bigger. Well, that's the same thing that happens with our fluid. And could be doing it with the nib, or you're not squeezing enough. But then I've seen people totally explode their whole shit, have a big issue, And I've seen in the past what people tend to do if they run out and they're not getting the desired results right off of the bat, they fucking just squeeze the mop as hard as they can. They have an explosion. Sometimes what happens is the mixing ball will get lodged in the nib. So I stopped putting a mixing ball in the empty mops because 2 mixing balls was just too much fucking around. There is a mixing ball in every refill. So when you pour your refill in, make sure you dump that fucking mixing ball into the mop as well. And it has happened where the mixing ball has lodged itself in the nib. It doesn't happen all the time, but if your shit's not coming out, dude, don't fucking squeeze it like a maniac. This is all simple science shit here. It's gonna fucking explode. You're gonna have a bad time. I had a dude one time. He sent me a picture. The shit was all over his house, all over his shed, 20 feet from the fucking house, and he told me it exploded, right? And I said, so I obviously knew that this was fucking inaccurate. I'm like, what do you mean exploded? It exploded. It fucking exploded like an explosion. Well, no. And so ultimately I couldn't get the correct story out of this person. So I knew what happened. I knew he tried to use it. Something he didn't do properly, and he squeezed it and it fucking rocketed out of the mop. But he tried to make it seem like it just fucking spontaneously combusted. And if that was the case, my house would be all fucked up, and it's really not. It's actually less fucked up by different crazy colors than you would think. So I guess this ended up turning into a learning thing. So this is Devastator 101 today. I'm sorry. It didn't mean to be a lecture, but maybe this is for some people who are still curious about how all this shit works. So these are things that happen, and I am constantly trying to educate because I don't want anyone feeling like they can't use this stuff because they haven't before or they still have to. But if you hear this right now, don't message me saying that I fucked your order up because your mop was empty. Please don't. The little white bottles are 2-ounce bottles. Okay? A mop comes with 4 ounces. That's just the way I do it. I don't want to fill the mop. It starts the timer. You fill that mop and break that valve seal, the fucking timer starts. You got to rock and roll. You can keep it alive for about a month. In the bottle, the white refill bottle, it'll last a lot longer. And you're going to need to shake it if you let it sit for a long time. But I've seen videos of people using like our old style label bottles, dumping it in there. And I'm like, damn, I know that shit is old. And it operates properly. So, you got to take care of your own shit. This shit is definitely not, do it for you. Everything is not just like ready, like, excuse me, I don't want to say ready to go. It is ready to go, but it's not, you got to take care of it as well. You have to do your part. I field lots of messages, not as much anymore because I think I got the point across. Sponsor me shit, which I've talked about before, is disrespectful to everyone who's ever purchased anything. It's disrespectful to me. My mother when I put out a shirt, my mother buys one, and if I don't take her cash in hand, she will fucking send me PayPal. And if I send it back, she'll send it back like Dick does. Oh, it's Dick's birthday. Happy birthday, Dick. I love you, man. So asking for fucking free shit is annoying, to me, and it's also, it's not respectful to other people, other people who are really fucking, who I've had people save up money, and I've had people, come at me with some interesting trades because they didn't have money or they weren't making money or they really just couldn't swing it. And I respect someone more for coming to me saying, I got $5. What can you do for me? That to me that means a lot more to me than gimme. Yo, I'll send you pictures. Yo, I don't give a fuck about that. As far as I have people who are buying this stuff and actively sending pictures. Like, they are the fucking ones. They are the people to me. I get so many pictures sometimes that I don't want to just flood the whole feed with them. And then sometimes I get nothing. But, yeah, so the sponsor me shit, lose that shit. Go ask Crink. See if they'll sponsor you, or, fucking Spray Planet or Art Primo or something. Send them a message. Don't act like I'm a fucking asshole because I actually respond to your messages and tell you that we don't do that, instead of just blowing you off. Like, typically, I'd say 99.8% of all messages get a response, all across the board. I try to keep up with everyone, unless it's really, really ridiculous, where in the past I would have told you to go fuck yourself. Now I just don't say anything. I'll either delete it, block you, or whatever, because I just can't afford strikes. And I'm learning too. I'm growing as a person, where I don't want to be a total dickhead to just everybody, especially people who don't know better. What else? And what else goes on here at Devastator? So inventory balancing. I think that's where we left off fucking 20 minutes ago. It's difficult to balance inventory. I don't want a lot of stuff sitting around, but also it's difficult to not have things on hand. So you have to have, you got to find this point where you have enough. And it's not so difficult to get the things that you need if you need more in a pinch. And at least you have enough to get started. I always like to at least have enough to get started on a bigger project or a wholesale order to get it out of the gate and get some progress in until the remainder of the things arrive or I go get them or whatever the case. I always like to have at least enough to make whatever I'm trying to make, at least get a start on it. Photos, videos, in-house stuff is always on my mind. I carry multiple pieces on me at all times. I change pieces just for R&D purposes. I carry different scribes. I carry different mops. I'm constantly carrying for research purposes, to see how things hold up, to see how they don't hold up, to see if there's a good spot that's getting beat by the sun that I can just see is getting beat by the sun, I'll throw a little something there just so I can keep an eye on it. So the photos, the media aspect is like an ongoing thing. I'm constantly taking pictures. There's thousands of pictures you guys will never see because I'm just snapping pictures of these things. And I try to keep up with that. I try to post something every day. So all these things kind of go into this. I'm constantly at the post office. I'm constantly buying shipping materials, envelopes, tape, bags. I'm constantly trying to keep stickers in. I know a lot of places put a lot of stickers in. Dude, I gotta be blunt. I really just can't afford to do that. A lot of people think this is like some big fucking making money hand over fist type of operation, which couldn't be further from the truth, man. Like every day I'm trying not to go under. We've actually almost had to implement like a skeleton crew kind of thing. And it's not really a crew because it's kind of just me, but kind of a skeleton crew theory that was going to have to get implemented where I only carried a couple colors, a couple scribes, and we had the bare bones just to keep so the inventory didn't have to stay stocked, and I could keep costs low and still provide something without having to completely shut the door. So that's the contingency if things get really bad, but that's another thing that I constantly have to think about, and keeping photos taken, make sure there's just so much little shit, and people are like, oh well you charge it, and it wasn't me, it was the site. The site calculated $8 for shipping, and I saw on the envelope it was $5. So, well, I had to buy those envelopes. I fucking handwrite every package. So there's a marker. I'm just saying all this shit adds up. I spent however amount of time getting your shit together. Oh, you got that piece? I handmade that. I had to drill that, fucking bore it out, touch it all up, fine tune the inside so it fit perfectly, epoxy it, which now I'm fucking allergic to. So every time I'm fucking epoxying dice scribes or whatever the fuck, I get a rash on my eyelids. So look at your dice scribe differently next time. And then I have to do that, which requires the space to do that. And then I put it all together in a bag with a sticker into this and that. And then I fucking put that all together. I hand fill out the envelope, tape that envelope, and then I fucking bring it to the post office, whether I use the kiosk or whether I take it to the counter. Like, that's where that extra $2 went. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here fucking, oh, look at this. I made this much money on this. I made this. And I got to bring this shit there. Sometimes I'm at the fucking kiosk at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning after work doing fucking 5 packages, trying to, keep them in the buffer period of when your order is placed to when it goes out. And sometimes those things are hard to do, to keep in that range of where I said your shit will be out. Like, it'll be out. And if not, I'm going to get a hold of you. And if for some reason it's going to be longer, for whatever reason, I'll compensate for that. So that's another thing that goes into this is just simple packaging, keeping up with the Instagram, keeping up with the messages that I have to get, or emails, or keeping up with the suppliers, or keeping up with I'm constantly keeping up with companies and people, and I also have to research too. I got to see what other people are doing. I got to see what the world is doing. You got to kind of have your finger on the pulse. You got to ask people what's going on. I do a lot of research in all these projects that we've done over the years. Kind of just seeing if it's been done before, or seeing if it has been done before, how it was done, how can I do it better, or is this product definitely specific to this guy, this company, this maker? And then I'm not going to fuck with it. There's been a few things where I thought I was the original guy and I wasn't. And then there's been some things where I'm not the original guy, but I fucking did it better. And I did it more consistently. And it, like that blacktop keychain scribe, that's been fucking stolen by, I can't even say how many fucking people. And when I see them fucking selling that shit, I just block them, because I know they just saw what I did and then they did it. Dude, come on, man. Get your own fucking idea. I don't know. For something like that, I mean, I understand everyone has a t-shirt. Everyone can have a fucking shop rag. Everyone have a pencil or a pen, but these fucking pretty specific items, man, get a fucking original idea. Modify it a little bit. Paint the motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. I get fucking annoyed by that shit. And then like things like this, like we'll record the Devastator podcast. I'm changing rooms. I'm going different places. I gotta upload this, and I gotta start getting together this Virginia order for the shop in Virginia, Supply. I gotta start making their order, and then hopefully the bottles are here, because I'm trying to overnight them, but overnighting isn't working right now in this before Christmas shit. So the 8-ounce refill bottles should be here hopefully today. So I have to find something to put all these empty bottles, or these, as I make the fluid, I got to put it somewhere until the actual bottles get here. There's just a lot that fucking goes into this, man. Getting everything ready, fucking with everything. It's a lot. And you guys make it possible for me to do this. Chopping it up with you and talking and just breaking balls and responding to messages. I don't ever want anyone to think that's like a burden. It's not. That's where I get the most, reposting, and that's where I take the most from those interactions. And it really means a lot to me when someone reaches out and said, hey, I look what I made with your product, And I'm so happy with the way this turned out. Or I'm so happy with, that you put the fucking shit in a little bag and didn't just throw it in an envelope, because it's, whatever, all these things, they really mean a lot to me. And I really try to think and do the best that I can. Like, I was going to switch over to all priority shipping at one point, just because shipping rates were getting competitive as far as first class and priority, and we're just gonna, but I don't know. I don't want to cost too much money. The bottom line is always big with me, and I don't fucking make shit doing this. Like, maybe every so often I'll have enough in the account where all the supplies are paid for. I'm totally stocked on whatever is necessary, and I might be able to invest in a new project, which is why like I said before, you see, like, new projects are getting few and far between, because I just never really have enough to do something worthwhile, and like, I might do like the 5 Zippos to open the door so I could do 20, and that additional 5 Zippos is what was pave the way to do more on the next run. So I got to really plan things out. A lot of planning goes into this. I'm trying to think, and even like working with people, and I gotta say, the homie from Gods and Gladiators, right? He dropped off some work one day, and artwork, not a brick. He dropped off some artwork and picked up some mops and some shit. And I was like, yo, we should do a project one day, and I fucking admired this man he looked at me and he said, nah, I don't even got the time. And I was like, this dude right here is about it. So that is something that I need to learn how to do a little bit better, is let's be for real. My man said, nah, I don't even got the time like that. Like, I barely got time to do my own shit. And he didn't string me along. And I fucking was like, oh, okay. Like, at first I was shocked, because the normal response for people is, oh, yeah, I'll fucking call you tomorrow, yeah, we'll hang out and go see a movie together, kind of thing. And that shit don't ever happen. So I really appreciated that. And that's another hard thing to juggle, is working with people. And a company just reached out to me from New York City, and they're like, yo, you want to hit up this fridge? We'll send you this little cool mini fridge. Hit it up, take some pictures of it. And I was like, shit, let's fucking do it. Let's rock and roll. And it's AJ Madison out of New York City, and they're pushing these SMEG, SMEG refrigerators, and they're fucking pretty cool. And I was honored to have them reach out and want our spin on their product. So we'll see how that goes. And we got a lot of things coming up. We got a lot of things that have been talked about. We got a lot of things that are that I'm trying to make happen, and I'm trying to balance it around everyone's schedules. Oh, and then Devastator takes place between my full-time job and being a fucking full-time father. It's a lot. Sometimes this is a lot to juggle. Like right now, I keep looking at the clock. It's 7:55. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. 7:55. That means Sophia is about to have to start getting ready to go to school. So we got to start getting her ready. So I got to wrap it up so I can go get her on the bus. And then we got to wait. We can't leave until 10 because she's got a half day. We're not going to be able to leave until 10. Then we got to go get Polly at some point after that. And then we got 2 kids, one leaving, one coming back at the same time. And Aaron is got a full day at his school. So he's like the only one with a full day. Everyone else is in and out. And I'm not bitching about none of this, I promise. I know it sounds like I'm bitching. I am bitching a little bit about the sponsor me thing and about the questions where people just didn't read the description. I am kind of bitching about that. You got to read the fucking descriptions. And if you have a question, ask me. Don't send me a message saying XYZ doesn't work, or this happen, ask me, is it normal for this to be like this? I filled my mop as soon as I got it, and now it's doing these weird things. What do I do about that? You know, I'm more than happy to try to help you figure it out. And if something happened, if something that I sent out was defective in some way, I'll make it right. I fucking make it right all the time. I've made it right when I'm pretty sure people are just working me. I mean, so I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to fucking to make shit right. But I do know a lot of stuff about what I'm doing as far as like how these things work and how they can fail. So always keep that in mind if you're trying to be fucking slick. Like, I understand how things fail or how they don't fail. So I think that's going to be about it for today. This is actually just me bitching about quality control. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck. What's next week? Hold on, let me pull up the little calendar here. I don't know if it's gonna start making noise and dinging and shit. Let me just look at the schedule here. So next Friday would be, this would be coming into the old Christmas, 23rd. Well, I'm sure we'll have a little bit more to talk about then. But I love you guys, I really do. And everyone who shows that they're listening, like Pep, he's always showing me that he's bumping a new episode, and anybody that reaches out to me and says, "Yo, I love what you're doing. I love what you talk about." My stomach is fucked up. I know I say it every day. I really appreciate it, guys, and and everyone. I love you guys. It means a lot to me, and I want to continue doing this to the best of my ability, working on getting guests in, working on doing all this shit. So stay tuned, and don't be afraid to check in and see how things are going. And what else I gotta say? I don't know. That's about it, man. All right. Love you guys. Later.